Okay, how's it going? My name is Jack MacLeod. I'm presenting my presentation for the Alliance for Pioneer Square brand redesign. So here, let's start with the landing page you get to when you go to their website, the old one. And there's not a ton going on here. Pretty straightforward. Don't really love that logo, but in general, I don't think it's that bad. And I decided after all, it's Pioneer Square. It's not this super exciting uh, thing like WTA, for example, hiking outdoors. It's a part of the city. It doesn't need to be that crazy. Don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just decided that I would want to maybe inject a little more color into things and address that logo like I talk about. So here's my mood board. It's just a bunch of areas of Pioneer Square, some photography, some old images, and some new ones. A lot of brick, cobblestone, old cool things like that. My color palette, I just took one of those images from the mood board and drew inspiration from that. This is a building right in the square. Kind of got this coral red brick color going on and a couple blues, nice complementary colors to that coral I mentioned. And here's my logo. I'm pretty proud of how this turned out. You've got those street lamps that Pioneer Square is known for, lining the streets in that image on the left. So I thought if I could incorporate that into my logo, that might be pretty compelling. My first iteration, you can see with the APS, I thought wasn't horrible, but it felt a little bit like, I don't know, a logo you might find at some pseudo fancy clothing store down in U Village or something like that. So I reworked it and landed on this nice perspective one that I think is pretty cool. It works nicely in negative space, and it's just definitely a little more dynamic with some three-dimensionality and also does not use the crutch of having the lettering in it. For imagery, I went down to Pioneer Square and took some photos on my own. So I used those for the website as well as a mix of some photos from Adobe stock. In a perfect world, it would be a nice sunny day, but this is February and March in Seattle, so that's a little hard to come by. But, if this were to be a real true redesign, you'd get some pictures with better lighting. So here's my website where I'm at right now. Obviously, I'm open to feedback and more suggestions. There's still room for it to be worked on. But you can see the logo up there on the left. I think it stands out nicely with that photo in the background. And we've got these main kind of categories: mission, newsletter, five core services, laid out in this sort of brick pattern reminiscent of a lot of the architecture in the area. And I kind of upped it a little bit more by giving a nice sort of brick texture just to draw a little bit more visual interest. And down here, if you click on the project maps one, for example, it would expand to show these interactive maps, and you can see my serif font that I use just for the block text, make it a little bit more legible. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty nice. And that's kind of where I'm at. I hope you enjoyed and looking forward to your feedback. Thanks.